Hello. I hope you've had an amazing fortnight. Our household have been busy prepping to go camping in a few weeks. My wife's 32 weeks pregnant, so it's going to be an interesting time. For the last 3 weeks straight, I've been running branding workshops for business owners to develop their own strategies. It's not quite as intense and personalized as a one-to-one session, but the information is there for them to unpack. A lot of what we talk about revolves being consistent, understanding that benefits like high quality aren't actually a benefit. That quality is expected from people, and people don't buy things based on it being high quality. A couple of quick examples: Patagonia sell sustainability, not fashion. Volvo sell safety. Nike sell confidence, and Lamborghini sell status. People buy things to feel like they belong to a bigger group. If you want to grab the free download on my site and discover what you should be selling, I'll leave a link in the show notes. This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Martin Sully, a brand strategist, designer, and founder of Snapper Studio. And I'm on a mission to help you gain clarity and confidence in your brand. I'll arm you with bite-sized tips and introduce you to friends of the show who are taking their brand to the next level. I have not one, but two guests on today. So I met Claire after I commented on her signing a publishing deal, which for those who don't know is actually a bit of a plan for bringing the podcast to life in a whole new way. From there, we discovered that we were both English, living in Australia, and had a fair bit in common. A few days after that meeting, I was a finalist at Awesome Newcastle, and Claire happened to be on the board that night. The board then picks its favourite pitch to win $1,000 no strings attached grant. Claire's a published author, award winner, mum, and igniter of inspiration. She empowers the next generation of entrepreneurs into using a mix of workshops and engaging school incursions. And what I love about Claire is her ability to sell the emotive benefit first, but also know that there's some pretty amazing lifelong benefits too. And Claire's brought in an artist with her today, Tara Clark, who she commissioned for the cover of a book. And I've had a little look at Tara's work, and it's absolutely epic. So Tara is, concentrating on character design, which we'll, definitely get into. Welcome, Claire. What made you decide to empower kids?
Oh, thanks for that. What an intro, Martin.
They don't always look like that, but I thought I'd go all out today.
I love it. And before we get into it, congratulations, 32 weeks pregnant, right?
I know.
Not you, obviously.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of happy about that, but judging by the first sort of 20 weeks or so.
Yeah, she's at that stage now. Is she at the stage where she's kind of turning over in bed and just
just super uncomfortable? Yeah, pretty much.
That's it. Oh, how exciting! That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so kids, all about kids. What made me decide to empower kids? Well, I guess I always wanted to work with kids, right? Always. I can remember being in year 3 at school and wanting to be a primary school teacher.
Wow.
And it was a dream. And I would look at my teachers and I would think, this is what I want to do. And when it came to, remember when you did work experience at school?
Yeah.
And I did work placement in primary schools, and I loved it. And then I went to high school and I finished, and I just thought, do I only want to be a teacher because that's all I've really been exposed to? Because obviously I've been in the schooling system, and maybe that's the only kind of job I've been exposed to. So I thought, I've got to go and travel the world and experience other things. So traveled the world like most of us Brits do.
Yep.
And then ended up just falling into the corporate world. Did a lot of events and hospitality before that. So fell into the corporate world and just got stuck in sales and marketing, which I loved. I say stuck and then I say loved in the sentence. Look, I loved it. And I worked for an agency, a design agency, for many, many years. And it got to a point when I had my own children, which a lot of, you hear this story all the time. People say, I got pregnant, I had a baby, and everything changed. And a few things changed, but yeah, I'll probably tell you more about why I started KidBiz and the real change kind of along the way. But yeah, a few things changed after I had my own kids, and I just thought, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go into an office. I don't want to work with adults anymore, to be honest. I want to work with kids. I feel like, I just wanted to have more fun and to empower kids. So yeah, I started to look at that. I did a couple of teaching courses. And I guess I just wanted to give kids a voice and empower them in a way that I wasn't when I was younger. I don't know about your situation growing up, Martin, but I grew up in a very small town in England, and parents of that generation where you go to school, you finish school, you get a job, you work hard, and if you're lucky, you kind of get a house in that town, and then you retire, right?
Yep. My experience was pretty much identical to that. I moved. The only thing, maybe slight difference, is I moved away to a big city for my university, because there was no universities in my little town of like 1,500 people, and moving away to 100 times that, there was like 150,000 people living there, and that's a big city in the UK. And that was eye-opening. Yeah, that's it. I went to uni in Leeds, but I still had that, I guess it was like limited beliefs. I don't want to say, I feel harsh that my parents brought me up in that way, but they were brought up in that way. So there was always this scarcity and limited beliefs, like, money doesn't grow on trees. So there was a financial scarcity, and there was, I guess, it just wasn't ingrained in me that you could become whatever you wanted to. It was like, get a good job, that was kind of it. But it wasn't like, if you want to go and work in China doing whatever, if you want to work in South America doing shows every night, it was never talked about. So I guess for my kids, I want to show them, and for other kids, that you can do whatever you want, whatever you dream, you can achieve. So that's really what the message that I want to push. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, that's really cool. So why is it so important to kind of nurture these entrepreneurial skills in kids? I think, let's get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, so entrepreneurship is something which, I think benefits everyone, right? And from a very young kid myself, I was truly an entrepreneur. I remember being so young, and I did all the things. I washed cars, I mowed lawns, I did all that. I did some really weird things, like I was a fortune teller for a while. Martin, I've never told anyone that. I was a fortune.
Oh
wow. And do you know what? I did it in this fete. I was really young. I was maybe 11 or 12, so my mum helped me, and I can't believe I'm telling you this. Oh my gosh. But I did. There was this village fete, which was in the village next to mine, and we had this fortune telling stall, and we had loads of customers that day. And I remember so many of the customers said to me, I've been to so many clairvoyants and fortune. Oh God, this is so embarrassing. But I've never had someone as accurate as you. And I was just telling them stuff that I thought they'd want to hear, right? And I guess it's the power of positivity. It was like, you're something good will happen to you, or whatever. So that was a funny one. But yeah, loads of tutoring, babysitting, all the jobs. I did all the entrepreneurial jobs. But for me, and I teach this stuff, but I genuinely don't. It's not my position to say that a kid should go on and start their own business. I don't mind if they start their own business or not. what I'm trying to do is nurture an entrepreneurial mindset. So things like, even if you just do a lemonade stand when you're a kid, the things that you learn from it are, marketing. You learn resilience. You learn to be creative. You learn budgets. You learn money skills, right? You learn selling skills, lots of selling skills, you learn product creation, because you might not just do lemonade. You might just make the lemonade. You might do smoothies. You might sell biscuits. You learn all of these things.
Yeah.
And it's these kind of ideas which I think make you thrive later on. It's embracing the challenges, and whether you start a business or whether you go into big business or whether you work for someone else, all of those skills are going to benefit you.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that. So yeah, to kind of not top your entrepreneurship with the clairvoyancy, and I set up when we had like one of those fates, I sold candles. So I made like candles and sold those. So yeah, I mean,
how did you go? How many?
Geez, I made a lot of candles. Like my mum must have got sick and tired of me just making candles in the kitchen. And probably, I think I made something like £56. So it's probably not a lot of money at that time. But having said that, if I was a kid, to make £56, I'd probably be quite happy with that.
And you know what? I love that story. And you know what? You probably charged a very small amount, right? Because kids do. They think it has to be really cheap. So it was probably 50p a candle or something. Yeah,
probably.
I love that. Well done.
That's good. So when you were looking at making the KidBiz Academy, was there like a really strong vision that you had? And when did that kind of vision come to life?
Well, actually, it all really started around COVID, which a lot of things started around COVID, right, for many people, or maybe stopped around COVID. But so I was working with the design agency, and we worked with overseas factories, but we worked with local cardboard manufacturers and plastic factories in Sydney. And COVID came about and retail just stopped, right? So retail stores were closed. Nobody was going shopping, which meant nobody was ordering point of sale and posters and floor stands and all the things that locally were being produced. So I said, I want to do something where we can support these factories, but also just keep us busy, keep us in work, right? Yeah. So we developed I developed an eco-friendly place-based business. So you'll see them everywhere now, but at the time they weren't sold anywhere. But they're like little cubby houses and circus tents, and they're all made of cardboard. And they sell them at Kmart now, but they didn't at the time.
Yeah.
So we started a business doing that, and it just took off. It was the perfect time to do it because kids were stuck at home. Parents wanted things for the kids to do. It wasn't plastic. You could color it in, you could reuse it, but then you could just recycle it at the end.
Yeah, cool.
So it was really cool. And I started that business, and my own kids, so I've got 3 boys.
Yeah.
And my own kids loved it. They loved to make the prototypes. They loved to test the prototypes. They loved taking pictures for social media, all that kind of stuff. So they loved being part of the action. And I thought, oh, this is incredible. I really want to nurture this. I really want to nurture this entrepreneurial spirit in them. So I went to the bookshop and I tried to look for some resources and some books on how to make your own business, how to make a lemonade stand, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I just could not find anything. Wow. I searched high and low and I couldn't find anything. And I thought, there's a bit of a gap in the market here, because I remember being that kid. My kids are interested. So I started to write basically a handbook, which has now been, it's not out, but I've got a publishing deal, which is awesome for it. So it will be out next year. So it's basically a handbook for kid entrepreneurs, and it's a how-to guide, right? Yeah. But as I'm writing this and I'm talking to the publisher about it, and there's vast interest in it, so I knew I was onto something. But as I was writing it, I thought, I can't just write a book about doing it without practicing what I preach, right? I have to be teaching kids. I have to be getting the feedback along the way. I have to, know how to talk to them. So I started doing a few free workshops, and I just thought, I'm just going to offer the free workshops. I'm going to teach what I've written and see how it goes. And I did, and they just took off.
Amazing.
And KidBiz was born. And yeah, from those workshops, I think I had 4 people at my first workshop, because, to get word out is really hard. And so I had 4 kids, and then they told more kids, and then they told more kids, and it just grew. So then I just got booked up, and schools jumped on board, and that's how it happened. So now I do online workshops, and I do school incursions and one-to-one sessions and everything.
Yeah, amazing. That's so it's such an inspiring story of that sort of growth, and kind of finding that little niche that takes off. It's fairly rare. Lots of businesses I come across are doing something that other people are doing, and to position them and to make them go, oh, that's something completely different. That's rare and hard to do as well.
It is hard to do, and it's hard to get the word out there, like any business. And since starting this, I have found a few other businesses which do similar things, but they have a different target market. So some are specifically only targeted to girls, or some might be only to high school kids.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, I'm just encouraged by anyone that kind of sets this up. And
absolutely. Yeah, I think that's I fully understand the need to kind of, and for some people to specifically target girls or boys, and trying to sort of look at that side of things. But for me, I always inclusivity and diversity are like big things that I genuinely support, and want to give people as much access to the sort of training that I have. So I do get that. Have you got any sort of favorite stories that inspired some children that you could share?
I mean, a lot of the workshops we talk about, we obviously talk about the big entrepreneurs, right? So the kids will say, oh, Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, and the famous ones, right?
Yeah.
But then I love to tell them about the kid entrepreneurs, right? Because you don't have to, that's my whole thing. You don't have to be an adult to be an entrepreneur. No. You can be a kid, and it doesn't have to be like I say, it might be a bake sale, or you sell jewelry online, or whatever you do, but it could be something that's huge and massive. And we've got kids in our book, which we'll talk about. But we've got kids here, which Mila and Liv and Lucas from Glossy Boys, they've all been on Shark Tank.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them. I didn't see Lucas, but I definitely saw the girls from Cinnamon Cove. Incredible.
Oh, incredible. And Mila and Liv are Newcastle based, and Lucas has done a TEDx talk as well. I thought he couldn't top the TEDx talk, and then he was on Shark Tank, and I was like, how many people in the world have done that, And these people are selling their products globally. And it's just amazing. So when I talk about these in class, and they'll say, oh, I saw them on Shark Tank, or I know them, and it's so, the buzz in the room, it's so exciting. Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, if people have dreamed of doing that, the kids that were getting inspired by seeing them on TV, even just, that's super exciting. I'm just gonna dive into a little bit of a tool that I use occasionally. So when I'm working with brands, and it's to kind of unpack their brand personality. So the first thing we do is to kind of look at bringing the brand itself to a party, and everybody always goes, why does my brand need to have character and be interesting, and what's the importance of that? And it's simply just to have things to talk about. It's to how do you want to present your brand publicly? So I always get them to answer a few questions like, what are they wearing? How do they enter the room? How do they behave around people? What do they drink? What are they, what kind of party is it? those sorts of things. But my question for you related to this, is there any similar tools that you kind of share that, can help people that are looking to go into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. I love that party idea. I might steal that from you and use it
Absolutely,
in my workshop.
Yeah, do it. It's fine.
You can imagine the kind of moody, mystical brands wearing black in the corner, right? Not talking to anyone at the party.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, it's about exploring that, and no answer is wrong. It's just unpacking it and just seeing how things go.
Yeah, we talk a lot about when we design logos in the workshops. We talk about color psychology and the colors behind the logo. And the same thing, there's no wrong or right answer. So I might say fun and I might think yellow, but then somebody else might think pink or red or, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's because I teach kids and you can't expect a child in an all-day workshop to sit down and listen for a very long period of time, because kids need to be active and they need to get up. So there's so many games and activities and tools and things that we use throughout the day. So just like that with the party game, but we might be building a tower which talks about planning and team building and collaboration, or you might do the color psychology like we said. But one tool that I personally like to use, and I think that every adult should use this and every child should use this, and you probably use it already, Martin. But
if not, I'm going to steal it.
No, this is brilliant, because as you know, feedback is gold, right? And as humans, sometimes getting feedback is a little bit like, ouch, it's hard to hear sometimes, but it shouldn't feel like that, because feedback is brilliant, right? And I always say what you should do is, for anything that you do in life, whether it's do a presentation, do an incursion, design a logo, go on holiday, whatever you do, always ask the person to rate it. Do you do this, Martin?
Yeah, I mean, like, feedback is like one of the most important things, to help drive a brand and open up those open up a dialogue with the people on the other end, so your target market and the people you're actually selling to. It's so important.
That's right. So I always say you've got to rate it from 1 to 10, right? So if you design a logo and you say to your client, do you like that logo? They might be like, oh, yeah, it's okay, But then you say, I want you to rate it from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being rubbish. And then if they say 7, the key is always to say, okay, how do we get that 7 up to a 10? Right? And that is the key. And then they'll start to give you the feedback that you need. Oh, well, actually, if you added a bit more yellow, or if you made that bold or whatever. And I say that to the kids, that's one of the best ways of getting feedback. So rate it from 1 to 10. And then how do we get that 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever up to a 10? So that's key.
If it's a 1, do you then just go, oh, maybe we'll just scrap it completely?
Maybe. That's it. So, it's really important for me to at the end of a workshop to say to the teacher or the principal or the librarian or wherever we are, how would you rate that? And then, how could we get it up? And for presenters, if you're new to presenting, it might be, oh, well, if you just spoke a little louder, or if you just got the room a bit more involved or something like that. And it's just gold. Any kind of feedback is gold.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I as much as I do go into details, I actually think that would be quite a worthwhile little tip to implement. So 1 to 10, and then get the precise feedback after that.
That's it. The scale from 1 to 10, always a winner.
Awesome. What ages do you work with?
So I've done workshops for kids as young as 5, and we've got kids in our book. We've got a couple of kids who are 5 and 6. So it's not just limited to older kids. So Tobias is 5. He started a little chili jam and preserve business, and this is Nate, and he wrote a book at 6 obviously with the help of his mum.
Wow.
But yes, so when we do younger workshops, they're more I'm very careful. I don't use business talk. I'm
Oh, no.
not like, give me your marketing plan. You know, most adults couldn't do that.
No.
But yeah, with the very young kids, it's more about playing shop, right? So we make a shop and we make products and we design the just shop color and stuff. It's just fun. It's just play-based learning.
Yeah, I love that.
But with the 1 day incursions, with the full day incursions, the 95% of my incursions are years 5 and 6 combined normally, or just year 6, or years 7 and 8. So it's always 5 and 6 or 7 and 8 normally. But with author talks, it's any age, because it's a 45-minute talk and it's just to promote learning, reading, writing, and entrepreneurship. So we can tailor that to any age.
Amazing. Yeah, you must come across a few challenges along the way.
During the incursions and things, you mean?
Challenging, students that maybe aren't as invested as some of the other kids, or could be a number of things.
I think one of the challenges for some kids, and Tara and I were speaking about this recently, is some kids will just be like, I know what I want to do. I'm so, driven and focused, and I want to make a jewelry business, and I make clay jewelry every weekend.
Yeah.
But you'll get quite a few kids that just say to me, Claire, I don't know what I'm interested in, because the first step for me is to discover your big idea, right? So we talk about what we love and our passions and what we're good at and our strengths. And some people say, I just have no interests and no strengths. And I'm like, sure you do. What do you do at the weekend? What do you Google? What do you do after school? And it just takes that, it's just driving that information out of them. And everybody has skills, everybody has interests. Like, of course you do. What do you read? Where do you go in the bookshop when So I guess that's the biggest challenge sometimes. It's getting the kids to recognize the things that they can do and that they're interested in.
I do understand that. I didn't have a kind of set plan. Like, I definitely, Tara, at your age, I definitely had no plan as to what I wanted to do. It was more just like, I really like design, and I really like woodworking, and, getting all these different bits and pieces. I did media studies. So it's, I guess when you look at it like that, then I could probably, there was a bit of a clear plan, but nothing sort of knitted together. And you know what, like from Tara's age, all throughout your 20s, you're just discovering it, right? Yeah. Like I'm nearly 40 and I've just started a business with kids, right? Yeah. I could have carried on and said, oh no, I'll stick to sales and marketing for the rest of my life. But you've got your whole life, so it's all just experimenting. That's very true. I was going to ask you about competition, but we've kind of covered that. Unless there's, are there any that are very similar to you? Or is it more, No,
I mean, I suppose each company has their own twist, their own thing that they want to promote. With the books now, Tara and I are going to do author illustrator talks. So it just adds an extra thing where it's not a full 3-hour workshop. It's not a full day workshop. It's just a gentle entry into it. So I think that's something else that we offer. And we're so, although we go anywhere, we are very community minded, and we've had a lot of support from Newey and all of our local contacts. So I haven't seen anyone in Newcastle, which is good.
No, that is good. Are there any values you stick to rigidly?
Values. I'm trying to think of the values which I'm trying to promote with my own kids as well. I mean, I guess one of the main things is perseverance, right? Yeah. So anything that we do, it's easy just to give up. And you know how it is. And we're in this quick fix world where everything's so accessible and everything's, there in the click of a button. And I always have to remind myself, you only fail when you stop trying. right?
Yeah.
And you have to persevere and you have to not give up. And I say that to my kids all the time, and they'll try, like any kids, they'll try to skateboard, and after the first half an hour, they're like, oh, I'm rubbish, I'll never be good. And you just have to persevere.
Yeah. I
So
think,
perseverance and I guess gratitude.
yeah.
I feel like we always have to remind ourselves, and we have to try to give without take. And going back to our local community, I feel like we live in a beautiful community here because there are so many people like the awesome Newcastle experience that we both experienced, where they're just willing to give. They don't expect anything. They want to help you. And the amount of people I've rang and said, hey, can we just meet for a coffee, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. And I would love to just ask you a few questions. And people just happy to give their time. So gratitude and trying to do that for other people as well.
Nice. Yeah, I think that perseverance aspect is really important. I think there's a point where you kind of feel like an adult as you stop learning and you stop kind of trying to learn. But there's been a few instances where I've started doing crazy things like trying to do a handstand, and you're like, I can't do a handstand, but with like enough practice and training, you can actually get to doing a handstand or a headstand or doing some of those crazy things. You're like, well, you just have to keep at it and try. Give it a go. You're always going to fail, but you can always improve as well. That's
it. Nothing good ever came easy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've spoken about it. I'm a bit of a book guy. Worked in publishing for 4 years or so, and then I want to obviously bring Tara into the conversation as well. So you've just released your first book. How did that all happen? And what have you learned along the way?
Well, believe it or not, Tara and I have made this book together, and we have never met in real life.
No way.
Never. And before last week, I don't think we'd even had a conversation, had we?
No, we did the Zoom talking about the school visits, but I find that really interesting as well. It's a cool little bit of trivia that we've done this all completely online through voice notes and text messages and Zoom calls.
And I was going to say, isn't that the just the way that everything goes now? Is you kind of completely remote, and I think that's one big thing. Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. My long rambling voice notes to Tara pretty much every day, and I was like trying to explain things, like rambling on, but she just get it. She just knew what I wanted, right? And then the end product is just something that beyond what we could have both dreamt about.
That's amazing. So obviously I was going to ask you guys how you met, but how did you? Was it just a kind of coincidence, or you Claire, you were looking for someone?
Oh, I actually taught Tara's brother in one of my workshops, and at East Maitland Library one day, and I think I must have myself and Tara's mum must have just followed each other on social media, and then her mum just started doing a few posts about Tara's artwork. And I was like, wow, she's amazing, she's incredible. So I started following Tara, and then I had this idea to get these stories out there, and just contacted her, and the rest is history.
So Tara, you have helped Claire create the characters on the cover, and I was told beforehand that you actually did some stuff in the inside as well. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when Claire sent me the accounts of each of the kids that were going to be featured in the book, I took some time to go through their social media and stuff, and it's really good to get different angles of the face and stuff. But I also really wanted to get a feel for their businesses, because they've all put so much work into this, and it's really amazing. You can see what passion projects all of their businesses are, and I really wanted to do that justice and capture them in the portraits. So Claire came to me with the brief, and we wanted these like eye-catching dynamic poses, and so I went with a few different like action shots, some of the kids holding their products. I'm really happy with how those turned out. And I really like working with like bright colors as well, so it was a fun challenge to try and pick out different colors for the backgrounds that actually reflect the brands, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
I'm looking forward to having a good flick through at some point. Obviously, as a designer myself, I'm a little bit old school, so I sketch everything out and then finalize it digitally instead, whereas a lot of people kind of tend to just go straight digital. Can you walk me through your process a little bit?
Yeah, that's awesome. I agree that like traditional mediums, they're a really great way to get like the feel of the drawing before you get too into the details and stuff. For the book illustrations, I did go completely digital. So I use like digital brushes that kind of, they mimic like the look and the feel of sketching pencils and stuff, which I like because it just reminds you to stay loose and don't obsess over the little bits yet. I have sent Claire some of those first drafts and stuff, and like they're never pretty. But I'm really glad that Claire trusted the process, even through the ugly stages and stuff. And outside the project, I do really enjoy doing like traditional mixed media. I do acrylics, watercolors, gouache, and you can kind of see how I use those same techniques in the digital artworks as well. Because it's really great. Like you can't beat the feeling of an actual paintbrush in your hand and the control of the brush strokes and stuff. So I always try and remind myself to practice those techniques traditionally so that I can apply them to my digital art.
That's good. I love that. That's I think you've obviously found like a kind of process that works for you. I've seen you also do a lot of stuff with Procreate, so obviously that's kind of how you're doing some of your digital stuff. Is that along the right lines?
Yeah, so I use Procreate and an Apple Pencil to do my drawings. And I really like being able to take it on the go and just be able to work on it anywhere, because you know, you can never tell when you're going to get that inspiration. And it's nice. I like working on this project. It's been like really free, that, you know, there's not set hours. I could work on it at midnight if I wanted to. And so it's really great. That's having awesome. That creative freedom.
Yeah. And so obviously was Claire's brief pretty open and kind of obviously directed to it to an extent because there was an end result, but was it fairly open?
Yeah, it was, and I'm really grateful for that. I had a lot of creative freedom, and she trusted the process.
That's awesome.
And we just wanted these bright portraits that captured the kids' energy. We wanted also to, you know, maintain the attention of kids who were going to read the book. Kids love those bright colors and cartoony elements, and we experimented with a few different styles. I think, some of the first sketches that I sent Claire were traditional. We thought about maybe like a watercolor storybook style, but I'm glad we went the path that we did. I think it turned out really, really great.
I think the small bits and pieces I've seen, it looks amazing. In particular, obviously the cover and the kind of the way that all the kids are on there. That's a bit of a montage.
Thank you so much. We had a great editor to work on that one. Yeah, no,
that's good. You definitely need those things as well. Have somebody to help pull it all together. So I've been on your Instagram and had a look at a bit of your work, and you've done a bit of work with clay, and then I spotted that you'd done some stuff with Legend of Zelda models. And then I was sat there wondering what your influences are. So where do you kind of find your influences?
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, while I do take commissions and I earn money off of my art, it's still a hobby. Like I really enjoy the process and doing it. And so when I get a chance to combine it with other interests, that's always super fun. And right now I'm on a little bit of a mission to try as many different mediums as I can. Just being able to, I do a lot of mixed media. So using different elements and taking bits and pieces from everywhere to achieve like my vision. And ceramic and polymer clay, they've really caught my attention at the moment because the possibilities are literally endless. I really enjoy working with those mediums. I hope to continue working with those kinds of things.
So you're looking to
just trying out new mediums.
Yeah, awesome. So you're looking to obviously, keep going and, sort of develop a bit further, working into sort of character design.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm trying to keep myself very open to new opportunities because like I never advertised myself as a book illustrator and I never really had experience in the field. So, I could have gotten into that headspace of, well, how am I going to know what to do? But if I had turned Claire down when she came to me, I would have missed out on so many amazing learning opportunities. And I think, the publishing world can be a little bit daunting if you've never done anything like that before. So I'm really glad I had Claire to help walk me through that. And I had so much fun. So, I'd never want to turn down any opportunities that come up. I want to see where it takes me.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's really cool. So, where do you kind of see yourself in the next sort of 1 to 5 years? What do you sort of see yourself doing? Carrying on and turning this into a business with Claire's help, obviously.
Yeah, I'd love to keep working with Claire. I think we really have like set the foundation to keep going with this and explore lots of new avenues. I really enjoyed the process of illustrating a book, so it's led me to sort of question what are my ideas for a book? Could I come up with something as well? Having Claire to show me, I was really involved with the whole publishing process, which I'm really grateful for. I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes, and I was involved in a lot more than just the illustrations, which I'm super thankful for. Awesome. So I would love to continue illustrating books. I think it's a super interesting career.
It's definitely having been involved in it. It's definitely has its amazing moments where you I worked in quite an unusual space and met some quite famous people doing it, but that was it was amazing the amount of stuff that I learned in those first sort of 4 years.
It's amazing, like the communities. I was saying to Claire that my favorite part about this whole process is like the people we've met and the community we've built around this. So many amazing kids. They are so inspiring, talking to their parents and all these different like Shark Tank and TEDx that they've been involved with. It's really the people and I'd love to. Being a full-time artist, that's definitely a dream of mine, but I love how flexible it is as a part-time thing as well. So either way, I'll be doing what I love. I love art. It's an amazing hobby, and love to continue, whether that's book illustrations or anything else.
Yeah, amazing. What about you, Claire? What's your sort of plan for the next 1 to 5 years or so?
There's a 5-year plan.
It doesn't have to be month by month.
Let me bring the spreadsheet out. No, I'm joking. Do you know what? I would love to do more books with Tara. Absolutely. I think we've got this one set up now, so we would love to do more in the series and more entrepreneurial kids. I'd love to do a picture book with her. I would love to do obviously more incursions, more school tours. I'd like to work with some charities. I'd love to do some KidBiz awards and KidBiz markets. So like a safe space for kids,
Yeah.
you know, to have their own stalls and,
Yeah.
and their families and friends, community to come. Yeah, I mean, big things that grow and grow over the next few years. And it's just, you know, I've kind of just had to take stock of what's happened this year, you know, as an entrepreneur and as someone who runs their own business. As you know, you're just, sorry, I think my internet is unstable.
That's all right.
You are just on a treadmill, right? And you're just doing things, and you need to remind yourself to stop and to think about all the wins and all the things that you've achieved and all the awards that you've won and all the, you know, you've got 2 books now, this one coming out next year. You've got, I think I counted something like almost 50 workshops this year, and
wow.
Tara and I are going to be doing the school author talks, which I'm really looking forward to. And to take Tara into a school, it's just a whole nother level of saying, hey, this girl is only a couple of years older than you guys, you know, and look at what she's achieved so far. So I'm just excited for where it's all gonna go and grow.
I love that idea of the safe space, and obviously we've had conversations about what you've got the book launch coming up, and being able to give people that opportunity to network and, you know, be comfortable networking safely amongst, you know, people of similar age, and to have that opportunity is so rare, because you know, networking as a business is scary.
And like you said, a lot of adults don't know how to network, and there's those networking events where, you know, they're all stuffy and everyone's there with their business cards and they just look salesy and awful. And then there's what you do, which is just, let's go for a coffee and let's just have a chat, right? There's no expectation. It's just just being friends, essentially. It's just
people being human at the end of the day. Is you know, that, you know, we all love that human connection, and finding meeting people that have similar interests or similar things going on in their lives. You know, they might have you know, you've got kids, I've got, you know, so it's you just find those people that go, and you just click and you go, right, let's see if we can do something together. That's really cool.
That's it. And to have the kids at an event that's called a kids market or a kids party or whatever, it's not a stuffy networking event. It's something where the kids can chat to and their parents too can chat with each other, because, you know, their parents are along for the ride. And to have you know, like in the book, we've got Zave, who's raised over $100,000 for cancer, right? He's incredible. And then we've got like we said, the Shark Tank. And then we've got Mia, who's coming to the event, who's got a global brand. And we've got Ollie, who's doing recycled, eco-friendly fishing lures. And he won Awesome Newcastle Kids when I teamed up with Awesome Newcastle to do a kids version. So they can all share these experiences and propel each other further and support each other. So, you know, it goes back to that perseverance thing again. Like when you're on your own and when it's just the parent and the kid, it's easy to kind of say, this is a bit hard. We've taken it as far as we can. But then when you're in a room with all these other kids, you go, no, look at what they did and look at what they did and introduce me to, you know. So that's exciting. Yeah,
that's awesome. So tell me a little bit about, technically when this podcast goes out, it's going to be tomorrow night. So tell me if people catch the podcast and in time, how can they kind of join in with your launch?
Yes, so it will be at 5 p.m. at Moa Coffee in Carrington, and it's open to the public, so anyone can come and buy a book, get your book signed by not only myself and Tara, but most of the kids that are in the book. Yay. So that will be super cool. Awesome. And it's just super informal. There'll be cakes, there'll be drinks, the coffees will be sold, and I've told the kids to bring some of their wares, what they sell as well, so that they have the opportunity to show them. So it's going to be a good night.
Awesome. Tara, are you bringing anything? Are you bringing any wares?
Nothing from myself. I'll be there with Claire to sign the books.
Awesome.
we've got some little cupcakes organized with the book printed on them, which I'm super excited for.
That's awesome.
But I think it will be amazing to meet all the kids there.
Yeah.
What they've done is absolutely incredible. It is so inspiring.
Yeah.
I want to get my book signed by all of them because they are just amazing. So I'm super duper excited.
Oh, awesome. That's going to be, it's going to be good fun. I'm 90% sure that I'm going to come as well. I'm keen to come and meet some people and, see what's been going on. Claire, if the listeners have kids that are kind of growing up, are there any tips you want to share or say, give them that, might inspire them?
I guess the main thing is just give them chance to express themselves, right? So whatever they're interested in, just encourage them. If they decide to start a business, it's fantastic. You as a parent can be their silent partner, so you can help them with things, but remember that your kid is the boss. They are the big thinker. A lot of parents, and we all do it, you just want to take over. You just want to say, oh, I'll do that. But don't do it. Let the child experience it. Be their silent partner, but their loud supporter. So
cheer them along the way. Absolutely.
That's right.
I love that. So before we kind of wrap it up, where can people find you? Where do you want to sort of direct people to find you, Claire?
Yeah, so anyone can have a look at kidbizacademy.au, so www.kidbizacademy.au. And also socials, it's just KidBiz Academy, so Instagram, Facebook. Just find me, send me an email, and chat with anyone.
Amazing.
We do lots of custom workshops and tailored to your community group, or it doesn't have to be a school. It can be, I do a lot of libraries. I do a lot of homeschooling groups as well. So just get in touch and
amazing.
And let me know.
Now, going back to you, Tara, are you currently open for commissions?
I am, so it doesn't have to be a book. I've done pet portraits and birthday gifts, any sort of freelance illustration. If you're interested, or even if you just want to see what I'm up to, you can follow me on Instagram at tara.clark.art. Or you can email me at tarairclark@gmail.com.
Amazing. I will, absolutely put all those links in the show notes. And that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Really good to have you guys on. Is there any sort of final bits and pieces you want to drop? Truth bombs, or or what else could we do? Things you've never told other people.
More about the fortune telling. No, I just really hope that you get to come to the launch, and we'll see you there, and we'll have a real good old chat, and I'm sure that we will be in touch a lot more with what we're up to. And
that sounds good. It's amazing. Thank you both for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Martin.